All right, guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at one of my favorite genre of watches, and that is affordable digital. I think it's just so cool that there's so much fun to be had in this category of watches without breaking the bank. The watches I have in today from Casio's new A100 line to me have to be one of the best, if not the best release in this category for 2021. And as a bonus, these take inspiration from the F100, which was worn by Sigourney Weaver in the movie Alien, and that just takes the cool factor up to another level. So let's switch things up and take a look at the watches. Now, today I have three of the four current versions of the watch. The one I'm missing is the special edition Pac-Man. That's a cool looking one too, and I really like the bracelet on that. The darker version, which is more of a gunmetal than a pitch black, is actually my watch. The other two were lent into the channel thanks to Gem Bijou, who is my local authorized dealer for Casio and many other brands. If you're shopping watches, you can find them at gembijou.com. Now, the gunmetal, it's kind of a bit darker than what you would normally think of gunmetal, probably, but this was actually an early birthday gift from a good friend of mine. It's a little trickier to read with the negative display, but I just like the look. There's the silver with the positive display, and then the blingy gold also with the positive display. So these watches were modeled after the F100 from the late 70s, first released in 1978, which is my birth year, by the way. They were actually the first watches using resin cases. The cases on these new A100s look to be metal, but they're actually also resin with a metallic coating. So, although the watch was fairly heavily tweaked by the prop folks on the set of Alien, the watch was the F100. I'll never forget the first movie I saw in the franchise was Aliens. That was back in the day of renting VCRs. It was a huge deal when my parents let us rent one. My older brothers let me watch Aliens when my parents were out. I was probably 8 or 9 years old at the time, and that movie scared me half to death. I also remember all the brothers trying Bishop's knife game for days after that, probably with a pen or something, but I know I definitely jabbed myself a few times trying it. Anyways, good memories, and it's cool that the original F100 played a part in the original Alien movie. So, what's neat about these watches, other than the movie connection, is the button placement. First of all, they look awesome there with a different colored line next to each of them. They also give the case sides a nice, clean look. And on top of that, I find them way easier to use while the watch is on wrist compared to, say, a watch like the F91W. The module's pretty basic. To scroll through the functions, you use the bottom left button. The watch is a little small, so I'm going to use this marker to push it so my fingers don't get in the way, but the watch, if we push it for the first time, has the alarm. Then we have the stopwatch, and the final function is the time and date adjustment screen, and that is it. Very, very simple module. Back in the timekeeping mode, you can press the bottom button here, and that's going to show you your month, date, and day. The upper right button is the backlight, which is especially handy on my version of the watch with the negative display. Up above the display there is printed what the watch is telling us, depending on the mode you're in. So month, day, date in green, which matches with the green button that gives us that info on the display. Then minute, second, and 1/10 of a second for when we're in the stopwatch mode. And finally, hour, minute, and seconds for the regular timekeeping mode. The bracelet can be a bit of a hair puller. It hasn't happened often, but I've noticed it 2 or 3 times. It's pretty much what you'd expect from Casio in this price range. We've got folded links, lots of flex and rattle. The clasp, I'm sure most of you guys have probably dealt with. It's nothing fancy, but it does the trick, and it's very easy to size. The watch I find wears similar to the calculator watches size wise. I don't have one here to compare, but case width on this one is 32.5 millimeters. The lug to lug is 40.2. Lug opening is 18 millimeters, so you might be able to swap straps, but I haven't tried it yet, and it seems like there's not a lot of clearance to fit, especially a thicker strap. Thickness on the watch is 9.2 millimeters. One last thing to point out, and I just want to zoom in here just a bit. If you check out the case back, there's actually the button functions etched there as a reference. I have no idea how I missed it, but I actually just noticed that this morning. So here's a look at my black version on wrist, and this is just pure fun to wear, and it's cool that it brought back some memories. There was a few sleepless nights I'd rather have forgotten after watching Aliens for the first time, but I've really enjoyed wearing this watch. Over to the gold version, and this is pretty awesome too. Cost, by the way, on these is right around 55 USD for the silver model, which I'm debating on getting two, and the gold and black are 75. The original F100 was resin with a resin strap, so I wonder if that'll be a release we can look out for. A resin A100, if they do come out with that, it will be a for sure buy for me too. So that's it, guys. Easily my favorite affordable digital release of 2021. Really appreciate you stopping by today, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.